Thank you. Next speaker, please.
The next speaker is Liam O'Mara, to be followed by Ira Robinson.
Mr. O'Mara, good evening to you, sir.
Honored members, tonight you're being asked to consider reintroduction of the resolution arguing that socialism is a threat to our Constitution. My name is Dr. Liam O'Mara, and I am once again speaking to the absurdity of this proposal. Let's start with the basics. Democrats are not Marxists. Any dictionary will tell you that socialism means the social ownership of the means of production. Not government ownership necessarily, this is a distinction that some would neglect here, but some form of social ownership. And it is simply a fact that no one who came to speak here last time was arguing for it. This resolution is aimed at unicorns and leprechauns. It is pure fantasy. What seems to be happening here is the development of a slippery slope fallacy based around a misconception that social democratic policies will lead inevitably to communist tyranny. The problem with this argument is that social democratic policies have been implemented in dozens of countries and have never, not once, led to authoritarian communism. On the evidence, therefore, Mr. Gibbs and his ilk have no actual argument. They want to believe that Democrats are secret socialists aiming at the seizure of private possessions, which is already absurd. Or to believe that Democrats might not mean to do it, but that by pursuing social democratic policies might, unleash some force of history that will inevitably end up with the government stealing your vote, which is just nonsense. While it is true that there have been authoritarian socialist experiments in the world, statism and authoritarianism are not in the essence of socialism, and nearly all socialist writers opposed the idea. Marx, Proudhon, Bakunin, Stirner, even Lenin himself opposed state control. The key element of socialism is worker ownership. That can take the form of government control, but it is usually not the way it is conceived. If you have ever shopped in a co-op, you have seen socialism in practice. Of the people in the US arguing for actual, literal socialism, that is the form most often preached. And those who want something more akin to Stalinism, like in the Cold War here, guess what? Tankies do not vote Democrat. They generally do not vote at all. They want to vote with a gun because authoritarian communism has only ever come about through violent revolutions. The people, like myself, who came to this city council to argue against the resolution, on the contrary, did so in defense of liberty, of free speech, and of the Constitution itself. Yes, you can argue till you're blue in the face that the Constitution does not allow people to pursue a non-Republican form of government. But no one was asking for that. If you want to argue with yourself, screaming in a closet somewhere, have at it. But do not for a moment allow yourself to say that Democratic voters are aiming for a socialist tyranny, or that health care and college tuition will somehow set up a sequence of events leading to Maoism.
Mr. O'Mara,
There is no...
on that note,
Yep.
your time is up.
Okay, no possible connection.
Thank you for speaking tonight.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
The
Next
next-
speaker, please.